Passion, drive, and patience. The formula of winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything for you to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED lights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has it covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices that you want. It's easy to make your car the MVP it needs to be and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Again, ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to this week's exclusive Bubba Army podcast episode of Tigs Bits. This week, we're swapping a few funny stories from our childhoods. We unveil some of the characters we've known over the years. We have a ton of laughs. This one was a freaking blast for us to do. We had a lot of fun. Look, we've received several DMs and messages, tweets, stuff like that on how can you guys support our show. Well, we've set up a Patreon. It's at Tigs Bits. You can just search in Tigs Bits or find it there on Patreon, the Tigs Bits Show. And we're going to be sharing some exclusive content on there that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. Videos, backstage stuff with JR the Handler, just stuff like that. In fact, we already have an insane video up of Blasey hitting somebody, one of our friends, with a yardstick, basically. We have so much dumb stuff like that I think you guys would enjoy. So we're going to start really working that channel a lot. So if you want to support us, head over there, check it out, Tigs Bits at Patreon, and give us a little follow. It's just like a $5 a month subscription. We're not going to go crazy with it, but it is a good way to support us. And also, if you guys don't mind, look us up on YouTube. We're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. You can find us, Tigs Bits Podcast is where you can find that. And we have a live show that we do every week, as well as other shows that are about to be coming out as well, plus our TV show. So a lot happening at Tigs Bits. And of course, you can always go to tigsbits.com. That's your one-stop shop for all the links to everything with the show. But with all of that said, let's jump into this one. Get ready to have a bunch of laughs. Like I said, we had fun making this one.
Well, if the fine folks at Apple are out there listening and they'd love to sponsor the show with a new MacBook Pro, or just I'll take a regular MacBook.
Dude, don't worry. I heard Bubba on a private phone call earlier today, and he said he's about to open up the wallet and just make it rain over here at Tigs Bits Podcast. I heard that.
Hell yeah.
Private phone call, man.
That's what I'm talking
about.
Private.
A lawyer friend of mine who works in a seedy part of the world let me know about that. He said, don't worry, guys. I talked to Bubba earlier, a secret phone call. He said he's about to open that old wallet up like he's at the strip club and make it rain on you boys. So,
that's right. I like it.
Hell yeah. In fact, I tell you what, I was listening to Clem and Kush last week and was hearing them talk about some good old, basically trying to take the merch crick to her son to a strip club somewhere in Tampa. And, man, that sounds like a fun strip club to go to. I'm not going to lie. Bubba started peeling that onion back of how the innards work in that place, if you will. So, yeah, dude.
Did
it
y'all
just
see
doesn't surprise me.
No, did y'all see the clip? I just saw it briefly as I was getting ready to come, to come start and do the show today. I saw the clip of Operation Pigmentation. They have guys smoking crack on film. So,
that was last week's show. That's awesome, dude. Heck,
I just saw a clip on Twitter today. I was like, I heard them talking about it the other week or whatever, but then I saw this. They actually got a guy on there smoking crack. There you go.
Dude, that's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. So if the internet and this kind of stuff was as big as it is now when I was 20, oh my God, I'd be dead.
It was Auntie somebody.
Dude.
She bailed out after about 15 or 20 minutes or so. She was like, I'm done. I got to go here and enjoy my high. But she gave him about good 20 minutes and then explained the whole the
whole rush and
crack
everything.
world and the whole deal.
Wow.
That's craziness. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna go chill on the couch over here.
And you think crack's over? You think like crack's over, right? Everybody's on heroin now, right? And all and the pills and fentanyl and stuff. But now some people still do crack. Some people just old school.
Yeah.
Old habits
Just
hard to
old
break,
school. Who was that? Was it oh hell, who was that? They were like, give me an old crackhead any day over the way these people are on heroin and fentanyl and meth and all of that stuff. Old crackhead over there in the corner is just chilling, doing their deal. But not that we are advocating any of that. Anyone listening,
well, at least they're not bent over halfway at the hip, standing there, like zombified,
foaming at the mouth and all that, dude. I tell you, man, it's a problem. But we don't want to dive down this.
The other day, JR, last week when we had Seth on, it was funny. We're talking about Operation Pigmentation.
Seth was great, man.
With Rio and Craig, and we're talking about the whole barbershop talk, and we got to talking about growing up, how we grew up, and how they just, you walked in certain settings, and dude, it's game on. You better not have thin skin, like, was it sit down, hold on, you know what I mean? Sit down, shut up, and hold on. That's kind of what it was. All these characters, man, and we grew up with them too. Growing up, in Florine, Louisiana, and Eclectic, Alabama, and Opp, Alabama. So, dude, I kind of want to sit here, like, kind of let's back up a little bit, each of us, just a touch, and just kind of talk about kind of some of that stuff growing up, like some of that stuff that we were around, some of those settings that you'd walk into, and it was the barbershop, wherever that was, So, kind of do it like a bluegrass style, we do get the guitar, hand it off to the handler on the fiddle over there, then Brantley comes in.
Everybody take a lead. Everybody take a lead.
That's right.
And we only have one mic, so you just have to lean in.
You got to lean in louder.
No, that's a good idea, Blasey. Because God, think about it. Just right off the top of my head, I go through this whole list of characters. I'm like, where do I even begin? And so
we could do a series on this thing. Yeah.
We probably will. This is the introduction of these characters.
That's right.
And if we can find some. But for me, the first one that comes to the top of my mind about somewhere like that you better hold on was Chuck Shell in Eclectic, Alabama, the gas station and the main intersection of our town. Chuck Shell, Chuck Lambert owned it. Ran it. His dad then founded it. I went to school with his sons. Man, and you walk in there, it was just never know. I mean, and you could be 12 and no telling what you're going to hear or see or they're into. I mean, it was like our barbershop kind of, because it was everybody would kind of sit around, and then they'd all have a beer hid behind something because somebody pull up, oh shit, hey, as soon as the person leaves. Or no, first would be when somebody would pull into the service station, they'd be like, what the fuck do they want? And I'm like, they probably want to buy some gas and get their tires rotated. They probably want to give
you money, man.
And they were mad because people, if it'd be like they close at 4:30 or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, 3:50, they're mad because what? And they're looking at their watches like, this motherfucker here, and they put their beers up and they go, hey, Robbie, what's going on? You good? Yeah, we'll check that. All right, we'll see you tomorrow as soon as they leave. And then they just go to bashing the guy about whatever, talking, or they come in and they just start talking smack, get your ass out of here, what the, and as a 10 or 12-year-old, you're like, I ain't even heard some of this stuff before,
Hardcore. It's
wow.
Crazy, dude.
How big of a town is Eclectic? What kind of size population are we talking about here?
I mean, it's spread. See, we're like Eclectic's where the high school is of our county, but all the other towns in our county are big enough to have their own high schools. So ours is Elmore County High School. Okay. So like, it was 20 minutes from my house to school.
Oh wow.
So it's like it's not. And a lot of people did. Everybody pulled in from there. So I don't really even know, Brantley. I would say a couple of thousand, but I don't know if it's 3,000.
I was thinking 3,000 or 4,000 myself.
6,000. Okay. It's grown a good bit now because Lake Martin has exploded, as most lakes.
Okay, it's on Lake Martin.
It's right south, directly south of Lake Martin.
Okay.
You pass through Eclectic. That's where when Hank Williams Sr. would leave Montgomery, he would stop in Eclectic, Alabama, and stay at the little hotel there, and then he would continue on to Lake Martin and stay at Kalijah, where he wrote the song and all that. He stayed in a little part up there at some fishing village. It used to be all like summer camps, Boy Scout, Girl Scout camps. It was people had land there, and there were fishing cabins, but now it's golf course house, mansions all over, stacked on top of the lake, beautiful. Condos, the whole deal. It's a little ridiculous, but yes, it's on the main. If you leave Montgomery, you go through Eclectic to go to Lake Martin, so that's its claim to fame, basically. But yeah, I would say a couple thousand. I graduated with like 80 people, 85 people in my graduating class, and that was 1998. And I'm sure it's bigger now than then. I think we've actually went up. We were 4A then. I think we might have actually bumped up to 5A or a bigger 4A. We were a very small 4A when I was in
No,
school.
y'all a lot bigger than Florine, brother. I graduated with 35 people, if
Right.
that. It may be.
I make
Maybe.
Op look massive at 110 when I graduated.
There you
right.
go.
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Well,
just
you're
I'm
like
trying to think
Moore's
of any
like where you're
characters.
from. Poe in Arkansas is like where you're from, Brantley. I think Justin graduated with
where
like
Justin's
33
from.
people or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
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 There's 300 people live there still now.
Yeah, I think
301
there's- I
since
think
he
the
had his little boy.
Population of Florine, I think, is about 500. It
Right.
was last time I checked, anyhow, and I think that's probably being generous.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I
They
think
never accounted
that's
for you leaving.
incorporating like a 20-mile radius
Big
around
reach.
Florine.
Oh,
yeah,
stretching out.
Yeah.
Stretching
They're
it
out.
still-
is. It
they're
goes
still
out to
claiming you,
Toledo
too.
Bend. They technically.
We're gonna
It's
claim
like-
the Joneses out there. That live on the
Yeah,
outskirts.
funny
That
you say
clan.
that. The Joneses are great people. They're not a part of this story collection, but shout out to any of the Joneses. Emily, if you're listening, shout
We
out.
all
Yeah.
got the Joneses. Everybody's got a good set of Jones. We got a good
You
set of
have to
Jones.
if you're in the South,
Oh,
for
wow,
damn
man.
sure. I
Where
think
was your place, Blasey? Where was your place
Yeah,
where the
where was
characters
yours?
hung out in Op?
Man, again, we do multiple places, but growing up, like when I was, let's just say, that age, that nice age where I'm like a sponge taking stuff in, probably 16 to like 18 years old, 19, right in there. Dude, we'd all go up to the Piggly Wiggly parking lot or the Sing gas station, which was right up the hill from it. Like you could see one from the other. Same thing, just everybody sitting out in the parking lot. You just pull up there. And there was these guys hanging out from ages, literally, a lot of those were older, like 21, even up to 40 years old, just gathering up out there, just hanging out in the parking lot. Because back
party
then,
at the Moon Tower.
yeah, I mean, yes, that's it. But dude, back then, like if in Op, Alabama at the time, this is early 90s. So you had the textile mills, you had the Op and Mykolas mills, the textile mills. You had Dorsey trailers over in Elba, or either you worked offshore. And that's what everybody did if you didn't go to college. That's the three things. Now,
Right.
the textile mills got destroyed by NAFTA. That all got shut down. And so all that's
same.
gone. So Op now has shrunk. Like I think people graduate there now, maybe 60 people with a high school class versus 110 when I was there. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing here on this. So let's say go back to those parking lots. Dude, there's so many characters just in that zone. Not even the old man characters yet, but just in that zone. Like, all right, there's this guy named Michael Vittich. I pulled in the parking lot. This is where the moniker Chad Blasi, the one-man posse, came from. I put it on the shelf for about 30 years and decided to pull it back out for this show. But one day I'm pulling into the parking lot, and I'd always just listen because they'd start telling these crazy stories. The weekend they'd gone down the beach. This guy named Kevin Jacobs, he was literally the baddest man in my mind on earth. It was there, but he was cool as he could be, but everybody always wanted to fight him. They'd talk about him down there at the beach and fighting the entire bar, beating every bouncer up or whatever. Just insane, tearing a whole hotel down. Like now they're banned from the hotel. But one day I pull up and Michael Vittich, as soon as I get out of the car, I'm walking up the crew of people, and all of a sudden Vittich, that dude was, he could have done stand-up comedy. He just turned and looked at me and said, "There he is, folks, Chad Blasi, the one-man posse." And dude, it was like everybody just died laughing, and I was like, "That's a pretty good name." But dude, I never ever used it again. Now, he threw it around a few times. Every time I'd come up, he liked to throw it out, but I never used it. So I didn't self-name myself. That came from Michael Vittich. I have to give him credit. For
Well,
that,
this is an exclusive here, folks. We've never asked where the hell did this come from. It was just all of a sudden. I thought it was a moniker and an appreciation to the pimp on the blimp himself, Alex Stein.
Same.
And I was, I
well,
thought
he
that you
extracted it from me because I felt obligated when the name came up. I got to come with these people got these crazy names and all this
Yeah.
stuff. I got to come with something strong and do this. I can see Michael Vittich just sitting on my shoulder. Go on and say it. Just go on and say it. It's Chad Blasi, the one-man posse.
You know you want to.
Just
Hell
say
yeah.
it, son.
Well, I'm
Just
glad you
say it.
did. It's
So
so
it's
fun.
destiny. So
It's
you're a
perfect.
podcaster by destiny, Blasey.
I was.
You really
actually.
were.
Yeah.
Worked out.
Yeah.
It did.
He
work
gave you a
out.
funny how-
podcasting name, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and you didn't even know you're going to need it to 25 years later.
No,
I know.
could
I
you have
just set
even
it on myself.
imagined going back to like the mid 90s? The three of us did not know each other, but say some little alien, which if you want to listen to a crazy show, go back and listen to our live show from last Wednesday where we interviewed Bowser about UFOs, conspiracy, government stuff. Dude comes in with a PowerPoint, lays it all out. Go back and check that out. But say one of those aliens had come back, probed us or whatever, and told us, hey, in the future, the three of you guys will be on the Bubba Army Radio Network, Bubba Army Podcast Network, just rapping, shooting the bull, and telling stories. Could you have imagined that? They've like in your height, you're in your parking lot at chilling, getting together, doing what young men do at that time and point and age of our lives. That alien comes in and says, "Hey, dude, you're going to be a fucking famous podcaster one day." Because that's what I'm calling you, Blossy, the one man posse. You're a famous podcaster. You're the most famous one on this show, for damn sure.
I don't know about that. Now the guy over there to the right, JR the handler, he's jet setting. He is like our Ric Flair. This whole
he is our Ric Flair. Speaking of Ric Flair. Woo!
I feel like Ric Flair today, boys. After
you pulled a Ric Flair last night, didn't you?
Jeez.
Hell yeah, you did.
Y'all like that picture earlier, me in my robe, boys?
God, that was
I had that for reference. I was going to text you guys. I feel like a bag of smashed assholes today, but I was like, let me just send them a picture so they'll know.
Look, I was like, I'm going to give JR an out. I saw pictures last night, and I'm like, we could probably record this later in the day. I don't know if he's going to be prepared to do this today when we record this, and but look at him. He shows up. He's in here. You're not in your robe. This is an audio only show at this point.
Where did you get that robe?
Yeah, that robe was
man. Where did I get that robe? I think my wife got that made for me some years back.
Yeah, it's just monogrammed over here, JR with a diamond. It's like a diamond in the middle between the J.
Oh, yeah. I love monogram stuff. I always have. I don't know if it started before college or definitely during college when my grandmother made me write my initials and all of my tags of all my clothes when I went to college so nobody take my stuff and I'd have stuff. But ever since then, I always liked monogrammed or initialed, tagged stuff. I don't know why that's weird.
Do you put that on the collars of your dress shirts? If you, when I know you probably don't have a lot of dress shirts because you don't have to do that, but when you do, do you? I've seen that pimp move.
I would.
Pretty dang cool.
100%. Oh, I've got cufflinks. I've got the the whole deal, and then my jewelry I wear, my turquoise and stuff that I wear. I've got my belt buckle I wear on the road is a fucking picture of me. It's my logo. How ridiculous is that? So and it's huge. It's about the size of a damn hubcap.
Yeah, it is a big old buckle. I love it though. Hell with it. It looks badass. Who cares?
It's a modified.
Everybody likes it.
Hubcap.
Tigs, where did you get Tigs from? Where did that nickname come from?
Well, Tigs came from basically I stole, just the short version of that is I stole my buddy. My buddy had a personalized Arkansas license plate, and it was LSU Tigs. He's an LSU fan, and he and I met in college and started hanging out and stuff like that. And then back in those days, the late 90s, message boards were starting to come out and all that. So I was diving into an LSU message board, and you had to have a handle at the time is what they called it, And so my handle was just LSU Tigs, all lowercase. And then it just took off. And then we all started meeting each other. And I'm still really, really good friends with a ton of these people that I met on this message board called Tiger Roar. And they all just started calling me Tigs instead of LSU Tigs. And then it just took. And then ever since then, this was 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago. And then that's pretty much just been my nickname ever since. But then you ask some people, there's Tigs, which is what y'all get on this show, but y'all get more Brantley than you really do Tigs. Blasey is extremely familiar with what some would say is Tigs. The multiple personalities. There's Brantley, the pretty much nice guy, can get along with anybody and just, this that you're getting. And then there's Tigs. Tigs is a wild motherfucker. All right. Like that version, when he shows up, now he's kind of quasi-retired a little bit, but he will come out and play occasionally. He likes to still come out and play. I speak of him in the third person because it is what it is. I have split multiple.
Oh, it's kind of like Hal Laird. That's when Harold comes out. You know what I mean? Yeah, we all.
It's exactly. You've got Hal over here who's just normal, and then you've got Hal Laird, the most polarizing figure in Walton County. That person. So just imagine the two to the tango. That Hal and I would do, because at the same time when you had Tigs, I would say in his peak, Brantley 1.0, Tigs 1.0.
And then throw a Bo Goodson.
Throw Bo Goodson in that thing. And I mean, dude, it got uncomfortable for people. I mean, those would have made some amazing shows. Like it probably would be probably wouldn't hurt to go back and start doing things that way. But
It's a little intense, dude. We're out there with helmets on, breaking 2x4s over people's heads, knife fighting. Like it got out of hand.
Wow.
Hand
Really
slaps,
got out of hand.
towels, grown man towel slap,
Knives.
or towel pop turned into knives and helmets and 2x4s. It got way out of control. You know what I mean?
did.
We got to
Bo got out
get
of
a
control.
demonstration of Hal and how good he is at hand slap at some point.
We
Yes,
do.
We do.
You
Because
and
we've
him,
now
Lacey. I'll get a
mentioned
little
that.
video. I'll get
yeah.
a video on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
there's,
speaking of cool things that are tagged, when we were in college, Blasey was so cool because he was a few years older than me. He was just the coolest guy, hot chick. I mean, he was cool, all that stuff. He was about to be out of school, all that. But he had a green Honda Accord that was cool. And back then, he might as well have been a Rolls Royce compared to what we were all driving, you know. And he had his personalized license plate because our fraternity, we were Pi Caps, and our chapter was Gamma Gamma. So on Blasey's tag, it said Gamma × 2. I always thought that was awesome. It said Gamma Gamma, you know.
With my
Blasey was so
WSP
pimp.
sticker in the middle on my glass green,
Hell
matching my
yeah.
car
Yep.
coordinate.
Yep,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. It was
I think that's-
two-door Accord, wasn't it, Blasey?
Yeah, it was like green coupe. Yeah, that 98 coupe.
Oh, sharp.
We're
baby,
talking about
sharp.
that yesterday. But my neighbor, one of my neighbors, just got a truck. Got a new truck, nice Chevy, full size truck, similar to mine. Looks a lot like my Silverado, but it's a little bit newer. He's 18-year-old boy. He's just graduating high school. He's tinted the windows a little bit darker than his parents are wanting.
Right.
A little bit more than the law allows in the great state of Louisiana as well. So probably going to have to fix that. And then he pulled up and he said, "Watch this," because we had a crawfish boil the other day. He brought some stuff over, and he pressed the remote on it. I went, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and he's
Wow.
like, "Yeah, Mama doesn't like that either, so I got to go get that taken off." I went, "Oh damn, yeah." So we kind of opened up this conversation of what boys do with their trucks, and they'll jack them up, get the big. You'll see those trucks that are like 10 feet in the air with big old. It looks like they're a damn swamp truck or something.
yeah.
Bigfoot. Just they don't drive well and all, but they look
That's
cool
awesome.
as shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they drive awful. I've driven one. They're terrible. All those tires and whatever, all that stuff. But anyhow,
It all comes full circle, though, all this stuff, It's like, growing up in op, even in the early 90s, you turn 16, you go over there to the driver's license department, they hand you a driver's license and a set of glass packs to put on your truck.
Right.
You know what I mean? 'Cause everybody's running around.
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't sound like that, dude. You were a punk.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
212s
right.
in the trunk or 210s or
Oh, hell yeah.
bass
Well,
and
that's what
glass backs.
that's
it.
what I was getting to. Like when I was his age, I got a 1985 Toyota pickup, an extended cab 1985, like the first of it.
Yep.
Of course, on the back where it said Toyota, I took all of that off and it just said "Yo."
Yo.
Duh.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And then in the back, I somehow or another found this noise protection or hearing protection required sign because there's this mill behind our house, not far from my house, Boise Cascade. And somehow or another, I don't know if I found it. I didn't steal it. I just found,
Sure.
I swear, I've just found it on the side of the road. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. But I put that on the back of my truck too. And then I had 212s in that little bitty Toyota. That son of a bitch would flip a coin off that roof if you started hitting like some Nemesis
munchies for your base.
munchies for your base.
Oh.
That thing
I
would
want
flip a
you,
coin.
I want to.
I used to love that Feel the Bass, volume
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Remember all that?
Hell
It had
yeah.
we had CDs. We had CDs that was just a frequency, so you could go through and find the one that
Yes.
resonated with
Correct.
your system the
That's
best.
exactly
There
right.
wasn't a single word in that. Yeah.
Just
No, there was some that you couldn't hear anything. You would just sit in the truck. Like I had a buddy, Todd Westfall. Shout out to Todd. He had the coolest extended cab truck ever. It was like a mid 80s Chevy, but he had put in that whole plastic thing. I swear to God, he had 10 10s.
Yeah.
At least.
Wow.
He may have had like 2 18s and 6 10s, or it was just ridiculous. I've never heard bass that loud, but he would pull up and we would sit in his truck, put one of those CDs in. You would hear nothing, but all of a sudden You're vibrating. The whole truck's vibrating.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
He'd have to pull the wind. He couldn't turn this stuff on with the windows up. It'd blow them out.
Right.
Bass was out of control back then. Bass was absolutely out of control. Eric Bryan would come pick me up, and literally, there's a 1 mile mark from my house where you turn off the road to come down. He would hit that. It was elevated areas. You start to come down. It was like somehow it'd slope off that bank. You know what I mean? And as soon as he got right there, from that point, I'd be in my house, and the picture would go. Zzz, zzz, and I'd go ahead and get my stuff, put my shoes on, do everything I needed to tell my mom, hey, I'm fixing to go. Eric's here. I'd walk out in the driveway. I'd stand there about another 30, 45 seconds. You know what I mean? Finally, here he'd come pulling up.
That's the way my boy Johnny Ergonomics was as well. You could literally hear him a mile away. He'd be like, yep, here comes Johnny.
And back then was lowrider culture. Everything was slammed back then. Everybody, everything was slammed.
Like this,
yeah,
when you got in that thing.
You wanted hydraulics if you could, or airbags, and you wanted it slammed. You know, that was the deal.
Hell yes.
You know, I always thought, talking about that, I always thought it'd be so cool to get one of those old school Blazers, like a Blazer from back in the day, just regular Chevy Blazer from back in the day. Slam it and just, like I said, fill the whole back up with like 12, 15s or something crazy. Just
those ground effects on it, everything too, where you can't pull over a rock.
No.
Hardly.
And we live in the South too, because I had a Beretta, Chevy Beretta with 212s in the trunk, neon kit, the whole deal. I had the spoiler kit, all that. But I live in the damn sticks, so I was just constantly tearing up my spoiler, scrubbing on things. It's a terrible idea down here. Really, where we live, you need a truck. A truck works best where we live. It just does. But when you're a kid, you don't care.
As well.
And then by the time I got to college, I got the 99 Dodge Ram once we got to college. Because everybody kept making fun of me with my Tommy Hilfiger jeans and my Beretta with my 212s. So I got a truck, and of course I pimped it out. But this was the age of, I was the first one that I knew about, in our bunch for sure. I had the stereo in my truck that would come out and flip up into a TV screen, and I had a DVD player under the seat, and I had a Sega Dreamcast under the other seat, so you could play video games in the truck. It was a trip.
You were absolutely the first person I ever saw in my life. I remember the day I saw it. Like, I remember you pulled up the trailer. I mean, I know exactly what you were parked off to the right side of the trailer too. Like, I remember getting in there. It was such a monumental moment to say, "Wow, this dude's got a television in his truck." Yep. You know,
dude, that would be pimp right now. I mean, that's pimp now.
Oh yeah, I have nothing.
And this is 1999, 2000.
Yeah, 99, 2000.
Yeah,
and now my shit is
Uber that
strictly factory. Whatever factory is what I got these days.
Yeah. Yeah. I got in an Uber recently, and they had all of that stuff in it. It was just like, it didn't have all the speakers and all, but it did have disco ball, disco lights, and like games on the back of the things. I'm like, wow, this is the nicest Uber I've ever been in. And he started telling me it's some network and stuff that they can do for games and things like that. I've seen it in some of the bigger cities too, like in their cabs and stuff too. But it's like, but still, it isn't that commonplace today. And that was 20 plus years ago.
And you had to have the little special toggle switch down by your emergency brake to make it trick your truck into thinking the emergency brake was on, so the TV would play, because it's not supposed to play when you're going down the road. All that.
Just all kinds of ways to get around it.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Cool.
Hey, back on the old men thing, I was thinking, I tell you somebody, it just hit me, and we were talking about Hal, and it triggered something, a thought. So in back to characters, there was this hunting club. It's called New Hope Hunting Club, and it was one of those dog hunting clubs, right? We all ran dogs.
Yep.
That's where you get there. You got, most of us or most people have dogs, and everybody else stands. You pick a section, and you go turn the dogs out on a track and try to flush them out. And then you shoot the deer, right? So in order to organize this, we had a hunt master, and he was Red Eagle, and Red Eagle would go there really early in the morning, start driving around. We had 7,000 acres there that we'd hunt on, and start riding around looking for tracks and deciding on the bigger tracks where we're going to hunt first. And then he would decide where we hunt next. So we stayed together. People weren't arguing and infighting over which block we were going to run. So, but Red Eagle, dude, he looked just like, what's his name? Hannibal Smith from the A-Team. He wore the black leather gloves and everything.
Oh, damn.
And so, so he was a character. He's an old guy. So he would talk, and he would get up and tell us, say, hey, boys, and this is on our Marine Band radios. He would be like, I'm over here at the clubhouse section. Hello. And I think I found us a good track, 10-4. So it's time to go. So he'd always finish his sentence with a hello, and so Hal was there one day, and we're drinking some some moonshine. Hal's up there hunting with me, and they're passing around. They pulled out of this old cooler, but it was like dog hair a little bit on it because everybody had dogs, you know what I mean? But it's on the outside. It wasn't in it. And they start passing around. We're all getting some eggnog mixed with some moonshine, stump juice, you know? And so it comes over there to us, and then Hal, I hand it to Hal, you know, and Hal goes, no. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And I was like, the hell you are? And Red Eagle said, you don't want any of my stump juice? Hello? You know, and Hal's like, yes, you do. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize what it was. And I was like, dude, Hal, we can bring you up here, dude. You can get your ass whipped. You know what I mean? You start, old Florida boy, first of all, coming up to Alabama, you know what I mean? And coming up here, we've invited you, and you ain't going to drink some of the stump juice. But anyway, Red Eagle, I'm going to wrap this deal up. So Red Eagle, dude, he was known to also, shocker of the year, he would get us on that first section. And then after that, he would go off, and by an hour and a half later, we're getting reorganized. Dude, he'd show up hammered. Like, you know what I mean? He'd done got drunk by 7 o'clock that morning after daylight, you know?
Jeez.
So somebody had to relieve Red Eagle of his duties, you know? And so, I remember one morning, dude, he's calling, he's down looking at something, and we're like, has anybody heard from Red Eagle? You know, hadn't heard. Red Eagle, you're out there. You know, we're on that Marine band, and Red Eagle finally responds. He was like, well, boys, I'm down here at the Don't Miss Bridge, and I just missed it. Hello. And dude, he had went off the bridge, and I think I was thinking the same day Hal was there, and that's when he just drank the stump juice. Literally after that, he was done. Yeah, he'd hit the Don't Miss Bridge and just missed it. Hello.
Hello.
Wow. Dude, Red Eagle stories could go forever. He finally, and this isn't funny, but it kind of is just fitting in a weird, messed up way. But I don't know. He was fishing with his best friend. And just, dude, if it's happened to me and you, like eventually in life, just we forgive and move on. And just, man, that's some crazy, I can't believe it ended like that. And they were out fishing, and he was on the back of the boat. They were down here fishing in a bay. And then, dude, turned around, and Red Eagle wasn't there anymore. That was it. That was the end of Red Eagle. He just fell out of the boat. I guess he got a little stump juice. I don't know.
Wow.
You know?
And that was it? Like, he's never been seen again?
They found him. He died, yeah, unfortunately. But, yeah, they were fishing. He went out. But he went out. He went out outdoors. That's kind of his deal, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he went out fishing. Honest to God, I think that's the way I want to go out.
Exactly.
You know, if I'm out on the lake and the good Lord wants to take me that day,
that's just the way it is.
And I died happy. I was doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, kind of like in Caddyshack when they're trying to tell the guy, Bill Murray's trying to tell the guy the storm's coming. He shouldn't keep playing the round. He's like, I'm having the greatest round of my life, and then he misses the putt to have the best game ever. Then he gets struck by lightning and dies. Then it's like, well, he went out on top. He had a great
he really
round.
did. Yep.
So we got to go out somehow. Yeah, it happens.
Man, this all reminds me of back when I was growing up in Florine. Florine's so little, you didn't drag around Florine. You didn't run the roads in Florine. We went to Manny, and Manny, Louisiana is about 9-10 miles north of Florine. Population probably about 5,000. I'm going to say roughly, maybe a little more than that now, probably a little more than that now, but back then that's what it was. But they would have the stretch, and you'd go to Pizza Hut, and then you'd make the strip, you'd go down through downtown, and then you'd turn around in Hardee's at the time. Yep. And you would just do that all night long, just running up and down the drag. But at Hardee's, that's where people would fight.
Right.
You know, that was where tensions built. That was the parking lot. And seen some crazy stuff. Not a lot that I can really recall and remember right off the top of my head, just spitballing, but just some crazy, crazy exchanges. One of the funniest lines that I've ever heard any of my friends say, walk up to him, buddy of ours, Sam Lucius, he's standing outside, and we're like, what's up, Sammy? What's going on? He goes, ha, just eating some fries. It's like, what? just eating some fries. So, and he would always do the point, still does the point. Love you, Sammy. But just eating some fries. And my buddy Johnny Ergonomics and I have we've eaten that up for years. It's just it's kind of one of those you kind of got to be there deals. But if you're there and that's the first thing, and you're 18 years old, and the first thing this guy says on a Friday night is, "What's up, guys? Just eating some fries." Yeah, like, no, you're not. You're just at Hardee's eating fries. Bullshit. That's not what you're doing.
Yeah, we didn't have anything to do in Eclectic, so we did the same thing. We drove to Wetumpka to the McDonald's in Wetumpka. You rode around McDonald's. You go through Long John Silver. You make a pass through that parking lot in front of the Winn-Dixie. Then you could drive through downtown, and there wasn't anything down there. You just make a loop by Heartland line dancing, club or whatever. You'd make a loop through there, and then if there's nothing happening there, you get on Highway 14, you head back to Tallahassee, the opposite direction, and go to the McDonald's there and loop it. The same thing.
That's exactly. I mean, that's like every town in the South.
I think it's every town in the South. Yeah.
We had Piggly Wiggly all the way over to Hardee's. Those are the two north and south end of town. And so hey, man, you want to go riding around? And that's what we do, just make the loop. And then a date would be, hey, you want to go riding around with me tonight?
Exactly.
That's exactly right. The date was the same thing, except for you had a girl next to you.
You stop at Hardee's, you stop at Piggly Wiggly and the Sing Station. That was kind of a little trifecta deal. And so that was it until every once in a while somebody'd have like a bonfire.
Yep.
Or burn a tire or something.
Party at the big tree.
Out in the field. That was a big deal. But other than that, we're riding around until something goes down. And then we all had CBs. So we all communicated. I had a CB and a Marine band for hunting club, and the CB was just talking to folks. What we gonna do, boys?
CBs were awesome. We used to we'd run dogs for deer hunting, dogs. I didn't do it, but I went with some of my friends' dads, and they were, they were just clipped. There's no two ways about it. Whenever we were out hunting, I didn't know any better, but they were just freaking polished, and we're out in the woods running through stuff and 4x4s and all that. They're just talking on CBs, and we're running deer, and it's just, we all grew up in the country.
Well, that was the big
thing. Pretty obvious.
Even on into college, that was our go-to. It's like, let's go ride some dirt roads. And in high school, same thing. You just veer off of a paved road onto some random dirt road, and it might be a little track into some land that was cleared, or it could just be a long dirt road that cut between some, and just pull over somewhere, listen to some music, use the bathroom, drink a beer, whatever. I mean,
that's right.
Dirt road ride, man. There wasn't nothing better.
A dirt road is where someone first handed me a bottle of brown whiskey. And I took a sip, and it was like simultaneously, as soon as I took that sip of that brown whiskey, like Hank Jr. came on in the background, and my life changed, for better.
You understood in that moment what that was all about.
It was just like automatic, like when you walk in, the jukebox plays that song. It's like that whiskey hit my lips, and it was like, all my rowdy friends have settled down.
I understand what he's saying
it was
now.
Like, I understand all of these songs now.
Exactly.
But that was on a random dirt road somewhere in Elmore or Tallapoosa County, Alabama, that we just, what are we going to do today? I don't know, ride around and find somewhere on some dirt to pull over and listen to music. I mean, that was just
that's right.
what you do. You just explore.
Look, I still, if I need to go clear my head, if I need to think, I want to just get some ideas. A lot of times now I'll go on a walk and I get the same kind of feeling, but I still like to just get in that truck and go somewhere outside of Baton Rouge. Yep. I don't like riding around in Baton Rouge.
I told my wife that
on those back roads.
I told my wife that a few weeks ago. We were driving over to Destin, or actually Pensacola Beach, because I'd look at a job over there, and I was like, "You want to ride with me?" She's like, "Yeah." And we were cruising. We're cruising through the Pensacola Beach National Seashore Park there, where it's just like 10 miles. You're going through the dunes.
That is so cool.
And I was telling her, I told my wife, I was like, this is my absolutely favorite thing to do at this point in my life. Is just me and you riding around BSing in the truck, listening to some tunes, listen to a podcast. We're not even drinking. It's the middle of the day, just pretty scenic. I'm like, this is my absolutely favorite thing to do in life. This is bliss to me right now at my age.
It's relaxing.
This is it.
And just nice.
Hang out with my wife. My wife's
the
my
one
best
you
friend.
love, and
we're listening to some tunes. We're cruising. The weather's, it's just, we're not, we're somewhat healthy. We feel okay. Life's pretty good. So it's like, it's just, this is it. This is the pinnacle at this point in my life. Now, when you're younger, the pinnacle is to go get plowed and chase girls and just raise hell or whatever it is. But now it's like, no, I just want that nice, serene, peaceful, blissful feeling from time to time, because the world's hectic enough, and when you get to be a middle age as we all are, it's just work, and then you're trying to figure out the next stage in life and look back on what so it's like that just those moments of just chill is perfect these days.
What is that, JR, over there, that between Pensacola Beach and Navarre Beach, that National Seashore? There's not a house, there's nothing. It's like a 9-mile stretch of just through the dunes. It is so cool. If you're ever up here in the Panhandle, I'd recommend driving. There's a lot of cool places to drive, but that is so unique.
100%. You're driving in the dune. You're like in between the dunes, and you'll get to a clearing, and you look down, and I mean, you're 10 feet from the waves are crashing 10 feet from you right there. And it's just, it's like 9 miles. It's beautiful. That's exactly where we were when we arrived the other day.
That's an awesome spot.
It is just the prettiest part of the whole country to me is, basically from Orange Beach, Gulf Shores on to Panama City.
Mexico Beach.
Just that whole, that
all
stretch.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally
and then
love it all.
And all the way on down, really, because then it gets Apalachicola and all that's still real rural, but it's beautiful. And then all the way down to like Clearwater and stuff, and even Fort Myers, man. That whole west coast of Florida is just
I've been to Fort Myers too when I was a kid in Naples, and I remember it being just incredible.
I had an uncle. I had a great uncle. My granddad's brother lived in Fort Myers when we were kids, and we would drive the van from Mississippi down there, and he lived next to orange groves. So we'd ride horses through the orange groves, eat fresh oranges and grapefruits off the vine, and then my grandmother would stash them all under the back seats of the van and smuggle them back, because back then you weren't supposed to like take fruit for whatever reason, but we that was the only thing illegal I ever knew my grandmother to do, was smuggle fruit back home from Fort Myers. But and like most places, it's grown up, but it's still pretty. And then like where you're at, where we all live, and there's beautiful parts all over this country and world. You just got to get out and find them. But you go you go through any of these towns in the South, when you just get out of the town and get into rural America, not where it's all trashy and nasty, but like really nice, clean rural America, just big tracts of land and timber, and get up on top of some lake and look down and see. I mean, it's beautiful. It's pretty.
It is
to me, and I know the rest of the world's cool and all, but I like America. America's got everything we need. We got mountains, lakes, rivers, oceans. I mean, America's where it's at. Freedom, yeah, exactly. Freedom.
The best military in the world that has our back.
That's right.
Also pretty important in these days and
I'm a
times.
big fan of this place.
And rivers. Y'all know our country's so successful.
Consider me a fan!
Because of rivers. We have more inland navigable waters in our country than any other country in the world. There's more.
Isn't that amazing?
There's no place.
Just look at Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just alone. Just take the South out.
Right.
Louisiana is its own. You could probably some way or another come from Baton Rouge to Shreveport via connected through waterways
100%.
at some point. I am sure.
That's how they used to do it. Yeah, I mean, I've been to where the Gulf dumps into. I mean, where the Mississippi River dumps in the Gulf, and I've
Venice.
been up in Minnesota and seen where it starts, where it comes into America, where it all kind of starts. And I've left New Orleans and seen
it's little up there, isn't it?
Yeah,
where the Mississippi River starts.
Yep.
It's kind of like a creek.
Yep.
Basically.
Well, kind of. It's where it kind of all comes down through some stuff. But I've been to where I've left New Orleans to be 85 degrees, and then I get up there and the Mississippi River's frozen.
Oh yeah,
on the opposite end of it. But yeah, there's more. The Mississippi River, the tributaries and all that you can navigable by a boat and stuff are more than like. Hell, maybe more than the Amazon or something if you stretch it all out and stuff like that. Like, it's incredible. But that's how we became such successful, because before you had engines and power to do things, it's real easy to move stuff on water. You can load a lot of shit up on a little boat and push it around in some water. So that was, that's crucial to us. But yeah, and that's another one too.
Crucial in Louisiana, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, and riding dirt roads is probably is number one, but a close second is getting on a boat and just cruising some waterways.
Oh yeah,
I love cruising some of these rivers. Even around here, it's cool. And talking about moving, like back in the day, they used to move all this timber on the water. Wasn't on a boat. They just floated them, and then they were stamped and all. And this guy bought the rights around here. I think it's some like heart pine and some cypress, and it's all the bottom. And he goes and pulls that stuff up, man. It's been sitting down there for 100 years or whatever.
Adley Bruner.
See the
you
work.
talking about Adley Bruner?
That's exactly who it is, isn't it?
Damn right it is.
Yeah, because when you were with Hogan Hardwoods, you know all about that guy. Dude, that's unbelievable wood, isn't it?
I can't believe I remembered his name just right there like that. Yeah, I used to work. Thanks. I used to sell hardwood lumber and molding, and that we're talking about crazy crews. That's probably, I mean, that was a wild crew that we had. I mean, I can't even begin to explain how insane it was. Not only whenever Blasey knew me and I was in Florida, that was a wild crew, but whenever I moved and lived in moved back to Baton Rouge here, that crew was insane. My buddy Gill, Tommy Chopin, all these cats, lunatics. We will get into some of those stories at some point in time. I'm going to have Tommy come on the show. Been trying to get him to come on the show for 3 years. He's my mentor, one of my best friends, and I talk to him daily, but he's kind of a ghostwriter for the show in a way too.
Gotcha.
but I'm trying to get him on, and we will. He'll be on at some point in time to tell some of these crazy stories about me, because I've told him, hey, I think that it would be better if you just told it, because he likes to imitate me, like, Christ, here he goes again. He just makes fun of me. I don't give a shit, but it's fun.
Kind of like we do Hal.
Yeah.
Exactly how we do Hal.
Yeah,
Yes, you gotta have thick
you're Hal
skin.
on that. He's our Hal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm his Hal, and that's what that's the bottom line. I think is what we're all saying is that you have these friend groups. You better have thick skin, and you better be prepared to just take it, because if you're gonna dish it, you're gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
Period. And some people can't take that. Like, just a quick story, for instance. I've moved to Destin. I'm working in Santa Rosa Beach, just as I didn't know Blasey yet, but wasn't going to be long before I did know him. We're on the job the first day, and this is the kind of environment that I came from in Baton Rouge, where we were just on each other's shit all the time, constantly talking shit to each other, just all the time. Moved to Florida, and we had taken over. This other guy named Jason Gilbert and myself had come in new. We were the two new sales guys, and we were working this room. Well, Tommy, the guy I'm talking about, he went with me to kind of help us make sure that everything was working right, that we weren't just overwhelmed, which we were, but still, it was nice to have him there. Dude, by the end of the first day, Jason Gilbert threw a chair at me. So, I mean, we're in the sales room. He threw a folding chair at me because we were just on each other so hard, and I picked it up. Every time he would call somebody, be, that's Jason. That's Jason. That's Jason. And so he was from Arkansas. No offense to anyone from Arkansas, but some folks, some of those Arkansasians don't have the thickest of skin if you kind of push back on them a little bit like that. I didn't know, because I just came from hell. I mean, that's what we were doing. We were just ripping each other. And so I was doing it. I wouldn't do it I would never make fun of you or your voice if I don't like you.
Right.
Period. That's just kind of,
imitation
I'm gonna
is the
make fun
most
of you if I
sincere
like
form
you.
of flattery.
Yes.
I think so. So, I mean, Jason and I had hung out a couple of nights, and we're getting to know each other. So I think we'd probably been working maybe 2 or 3 days together, actually, by the time he threw the chair. But I had had enough time to understand his voice, and that's what Tommy and I would do. We would just imitate people. We couldn't help it. And so Jason did not like that at all, and I got the message and apologized to him. Like, dude, he went down to Cade, our boy Cade, and was like, I can't work with him. I ain't gonna be able to work with this boy. I'm going back to Arkansas. I was like, God damn.
Did y'all run him out of town?
No, hell
no.
no. We ended up that night having a
better.
couple drinks, and like, dude, I'm so sorry, man. I would never. I like you. I love you.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing. We're a team here.
Yeah.
So I won't do that again.
No,
I don't want to
that's funny.
offend you, but yeah, dude, he threw a
you just
chair
come
at
from
me.
a
It didn't
different
hit me,
background.
but it yeah, it was some fun stuff. But anyhow, boys.
Wow, that's funny. Hey,
Anyhow, look, we can talk stories all day.
100%. And I tell you, I want to say before we get off here, thanks to Seth for coming on our show last week. I hope everybody enjoyed
Yes.
that. It was a blast to
man.
get to catch up with him. I didn't know his backstory at all,
I didn't
really,
either.
and that was really neat to figure out how he and Bubba came to be and what he's done. And appreciate him lending us the time and the kind words about the show. Love to have him on again. If anybody didn't listen to our show last week on the Bubba Podcast Network, we got into some wrestling. I mean, we talked about all kinds of fun stuff. That was a good show.
We talked about everything.
Yeah.
Card
That was a fun
breaks, our show, other shows, everything. So if you didn't check that one out, go out and go check last week's show out. It was a fun one, and hopefully we'll have Bubba on soon as well. We got. I think
invited
that's kind
to
of a given. It's kind of a given.
We got invited
We did
to
get invited
to
to
the party, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We
got an
did. So
official invite.
Seth, on that night we recorded, Seth kind of leaked that, and I was over here like, do I need to maybe edit that out of this? We'll just kind of. And then he went and he confessed it on the show the next morning. He went ahead and just took one for the team. He's
did.
like, yeah, I don't know if Seth's like, I don't really want to edit that show. It's good. Or I'll go ahead and just see what Bubba says.
I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
What did Bubba say?
What did Seth say? How did
say?
Seth bring it up on their show? I didn't hear that clip.
He kind of just basically said, well, Bubba kind of pulled it out like he was asking permission for something he had already done, just like I would have when I was 16 years old and going to tell my daddy that I just, ran over Wallace Arrington's tree,
Right.
apple tree that he had just planted.
Because at the end of the day, Bubba makes all the decisions when it comes to
that's
that.
correct.
That's
That's
this
correct.
is not, nobody else. Bubba makes final decisions of who comes to Bart. Bubba makes decision who gets rings, who gets in the hall, all that stuff. That's a Bubba decision.
That's a
at the end
Bubba's
of the
deal.
day. So he kind of felt like even when he said it, I was kind of like,
I
hope so. I
yeah.
hope Bubba lets us do that one day.
Yes,
I appreciate
and
you saying that. That's an endorsement.
That's right.
But Bubba has to come to his own determination, So,
Bubba goes, those guys, they're not expecting rings, are they? They're going to get expected rings? Like, no, we're not expecting a ring, Bubba. No.
We're not ring worthy.
No, we're not ring worthy. Hell no.
No.
Maybe
Well, I
we
don't know
get
how
ring
long we
worthy
got.
one day, but
How long
we will
got?
get
Till
ring worthy for
January?
damn sure.
Well, we might.
We got till January.
Maybe in
We
a couple
could be
years,
ring
too,
worthy
though.
by then. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You never
But
know. Just depends on
we
what
just
we
want
bring.
the invite. We want to show up. I want to meet the Bubba Army. I want to meet these
Oh,
people
heck
that
yeah,
are
dude.
at the
That's gonna be
bar. I've
awesome.
watched the programs. I've watched the recaps over the last couple of years and stuff. It looks like a blast. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's just a good time to get to hang out with everybody and chill and go get to see Operation Pigmentation, go by there, get a haircut, hang out with those boys, do some interviews with some of these people while we're there. I mean, come on.
If I end up making it to this thing, which I'm going to try my dangest, of course, but unless we have a show, I'm going to get plastered at this event and just let them know who real JR is. I'm going to go
That's
hardcore.
exactly what you're going to do. God, it's
Pretty
gonna be
sure that's
so
a
good,
given,
boy.
yeah.
I want some
Yeah.
controversy. Give me an open tab on some Casamigos, and we'll have a good time. I promise.
Watch out.
Yeah, and just throw you on stage, let you do some introductions, man. Just
I'll work the
wrestling
room.
promo
I'll work
style.
the room. I'll
Hell
work
yeah.
the room. I'll work every crowd, every little click in the room. It'll be great. I can't wait.
I mean, that's what you do.
Pretty much.
That's your job, JR. You're literally the handler. You are the networker. You're the guy behind the stage working it to make sure the artists are happy, everybody's flowing, everything's working right. I mean, that's your job, dude.
Yep.
That's what you do on our show too. You handle us, thank God, because both Blasey and I do need handling at times.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
You know?
Hey, and before I know we're going to wrap this thing up soon, but I did. I want to say real quick about my concert experience. Went and saw Stained did a show at the amphitheater here near about 10 minutes from my house last night, and man, I had a great time. But the lineup was Tim Montana. Opened the show, which I'm friends with Tim's cousin Rob, as a friend of mine from Detroit, and Tim texted me, but we didn't get to hook up at the show. They were getting on the road after their set, and then Saint Avant, I think, was another rock band after them. Then it was Seether, which I forgot. Man, they were great, man. I'm not really familiar with their music.
Seether's one of my favorite alternative bands of all time.
Dude, they were great.
I mean, they
man.
really are.
They put on a hell of a show, and then I didn't know what to expect because I'm friends with Aaron Lewis. I've known Aaron Lewis for several years now, since he does the country stuff. You know, we've been around each other and hung out and been sat next to each other on airplanes and stuff. And he's a trip. We used to when we'd fly somewhere, we'd both haul ass outside to smoke a cigarette because he's still cigging it up, and I used to be a cigger myself. But man, so I didn't really know, and I looked up. They were playing like 15 shows on this tour, and I was like, okay, I didn't even know Stain was doing their show. I thought it was Aaron Lewis doing his thing. But man, dude, that was a badass rock show, man. The sound was
you sent
pumping.
us some
You could
videos.
feel the kick in your
Hell
chest.
yeah.
The production was sick, man. They had cool video walls on multi-levels. Light package was killer. Weather was great. I mean, the tequila and the White Claws were flowing like they were going out of style. And
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was an amazing. So I just want to say that, that's not something you would think JR would be at a Seether Stained concert, but it was a Tuesday night, 10 minutes from my
Tiggy's
house.
heart so happy.
Yeah, and somebody had free tickets for a box seat, so I'm like, I'm all over that. So I went and found. I was trying to find a T-shirt to wear because I always want to be appropriate with my T-shirt, my T-shirt game. So I had only rock shirts. I had like 3 ZZ Top shirts, and I had 1 Iron Maiden '87 Houston shirt. And of course, I went with the Iron Maiden, had to, and and thoroughly enjoyed that rock concert. Though I'm just gonna put that out. that was
That's
a
awesome, man.
fun rock show, and I wouldn't have thought I would have had that much fun, but I had an absolute blast. I'm paying for
You
it.
got there and had a blast with
Yeah,
it.
paying for it a little bit today. I can feel the Casa Azul easing through my pores now, but it was great. So I just wanted to get that out there. If y'all catch one of those coming through your town, check them out, man. That was a great show, and man, I had a blast.
Heck, oh, dude, that's awesome, man. Hey, let me ask you this. You mentioned Aaron Lewis. Like, I don't know why I thought about this, a little off track, but didn't Aaron Lewis and Cole Swindell one time have this beef going kind of between this bro country and kind of old school stuff or something? Like, didn't they have some kind of issue with each other?
I don't know.
Just some controversy.
I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know.
I think initially when Aaron Lewis started doing country, there was some pushback from some of the more traditional country artists. Like, what the hell's this rock dude doing? But then you listen to some of his songs, you're like, huh, he fits right the hell in.
I like him. Yeah.
I do too.
I think it all got
both
squashed, but I
versions.
think there was a little issue there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a big
some
Aaron
other friends,
fan. And I'm friends with Cole Swindell.
Cole Swindell camp. I know some people over there too that are real good friends with him. So
yeah, and Cole, I was Cole's first tour manager, first gigs he ever went. He was in my van.
Were you really?
I took him and his band down to Georgia, and we did some shows. And he got his.
Did you go to the Albany, Georgia show at that theater?
No, this was club shows when he first got started. Like his first shows ever were at Rum Runners in Statesboro and Peachtree Tavern in Atlanta. And this would have been about the time I was with John Party, and he was a baby act at the time too. And funny side note on that, we're back in Nashville, and Cole's guitar player calls me and's like, "Hey, we're going to watch the Ric Flair documentary at the movies tonight. You want to go with us?" I'm like, hell yeah. So me, Cole, his whole band, we all got our popcorn and went and watched the Ric Flair documentary at the movie theater in Nashville,
nice.
Green Hills, when it came out back in the day.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Cole, so I'm friends
awesome.
with both of them, but I could see there being some beef. There's always some beef with somebody don't like this or
yeah.
somebody don't like that or this ain't that. So I don't get it. I try to stay out of all that. But as far as people, hell, they're both good people. And Aaron Lewis has still got the rock in him, man. His voice was killed. The production, oh man, it was just sick. And I saw Cole's actually coming to that amphitheater in a couple of months. I don't know if I'm gonna be home, but I'm sure to be.
Who is
Cole Swindell? Cole Swindell.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, great show. Aaron Lewis killed it. Band killed it.
That's awesome, man.
It was sick.
That's
for sure.
awesome.
But yeah, so anyway, I had a good time today, man. I'm glad we got to do this show, and I look forward to our live streams this week. I want to thank everybody for clicking, liking, subscribing to all of our stuff. I know the Bubba Army's been really proactive with seeking out our other stuff and our other channels that we put content out on, so I want to give them a shout out. Bubba, shout out. Thanks for hooking all this up. Seth, you the man. Been a fun ride. This is episode, 3, 4. This is our fourth one we've done.
This
on
is
the
our
Bubba
fourth
thing.
one.
Yeah, fourth one. Yeah, man.
I feel like we
made it a month.
Yeah, and I feel like we've got
we made it a month.
I feel like we're in a new recliner and it's broke in already. I feel like we're right at home with these guys. I think it's a great. I think this is perfect.
I do too. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a nice, seamless blend of an audience, our little audience that we had, and Bubba Army's much larger audience, and soon starting in a couple of weeks from when you're listening to this, we'll be on national television. So just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of fun, but I couldn't say it any better. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate the Bubba Army, appreciate Bubba, Seth, everybody. I appreciate you guys too for doing this with me every week. And we'll see y'all again next week.
Take care. Later.
Cheers, y'all.